Okay, everyone. So, being that I'm Jamaican, I'm gonna do this for the first time. So, I'm gonna show you how I usually prepare the roast fish or stuffed fish when I'm in Jamaica. I started doing this like maybe about 20 years ago. When I was back home in Jamaica, I used to do stuffed fish with callaloo and we used to use freshwater fish, mainly tilapia, that we used to get. And I started this off in Jamaica. But being that I'm here in Canada, I can't get callaloo here in Canada, especially where I am here in Calgary. So I've resorted to using spinach, right? With all my other ingredients. I will give you that in the, all depends on how this works out or if you like this video. Also, the fish that I'll be using today is called pampanus or whatever it is. We get this in the Asian shops here in Canada. Very fleshy fish, very nice fish, very good to use. I started using this like a month ago or so. So I'll show you the process as I go along, including stuffing. Now my stuffing was already prepared. I already cut up all my stuff and I had it frozen because I wasn't ready to do it. Being that it's gonna be Thanksgiving, so Rastaman are really the Thanksgiving thing, so that's enough for thing. So anyways, today is Sunday, tomorrow Thanksgiving, so holiday, so I prepare my fish them for today. Easier when I warm it up tomorrow because I have to work tomorrow anyways. Today I'm a day off. So with all that being said, let's get to it. I'm gonna show you exactly how I do this thing. And for references too, normally when I'm back home in Jamaica, I use coal. I may have a special stove thing when I set up our grill when I would use with a flat surface or whatever. I use coal. Can't get that here. Not that I can. Stainless steel and all them things, but we just gonna use the oven for now because I tried that and it worked perfectly. So we're gonna go ahead with the procedure and show you exactly how it's done. Alright, so here we go. Now as you can see, I already have my fish and I have 8 fishes here already, right? You can see them. These are my fish. This is the one that we're gonna be using today. And also this was frozen. This is my stuffing that I told you about earlier on. I already did this like a couple days ago and I had it frozen in the refrigerator because I didn't want my vegetable to go bad or anything. So yeah, aside from that, let's see if we can start the process. Alright, so here I'm using aluminum foil, as you can see, and depending on the size of my fish, go ahead. I'm also gonna be using butter. Now back home in Jamaica, maybe a yard would have you call it, would I have margarine butter I use or whatever. When I have that here, so I'm gonna use Beaker because this is more common, or what you can get other butter too, but this is what I had in my refrigerator, so I'm gonna be using this. Alright, so what you want to do, make sure your surface is clear. Excuse my kitchen, it's untidy. Alright, a cowboy style me live here, so me alone. So anyhow, that's how me do it. Make sure first thing, make sure your counter clear, you don't have no grains or anything on your counter because you don't want to puncture your file paper while doing this, right? So you go ahead and you add some butter to your file paper. Add it to your preference, whatever amount you would like. I know this one give me a lot of gravies or whatever anyways, right? So after you do that, I'm using Maggie fish seasoning. This is what we normally use in Jamaica. I get it here, so I'm using Maggie fish seasoning and I add a little salt to it. Alright? Now like I said before, My fish is already prepared, so I'm gonna look for the size that I want to put in this file paper here. Alright, so here we go. Already clean, already gutted and clean, right? So therefore what I do, I go ahead, and if you notice, I cut in the sides of the fish, and I'll put some of this seasoning inside, right? I'll also go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit onto the butter that you prepared onto your file paper. Proceed to opening your fish, and I'll stuff my vegetable, if you want to call it so. I'll stuff my vegetable inside, and after doing that, I made sure that it's all fit. It all depends on the capacity of the fish or how much it can hold. Now that I've done that, what I want to do now, I'm going to go ahead and place that onto the file paper. Right? And then I'll just slowly bring the file paper over. Hope you can see what I'm doing right here. Bring the file paper over to here. And then I'm gonna wrap, try to seal it as best as possible. Because once you put this in the oven or you add heat to it, all the juices will be running. And you want to keep that juice inside, because that juice is also important. You don't want to lose that. As we would have said back in Jamaica, you see that juice here? This is how we make you breathe, woman. You see what I say? So yeah, the juice is a critical part of it. You don't want to lose that, because you're going to use the juice as well. You don't know the thing set. I mean, I warn you say if you use Dr. Fish like you did at Jamaica, best fish that we use. You use Dr. Fish and you do this, trust me, you breed any woman. Alright? So, you're going to work it like this. Anyways, I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to wrap out the fish them. And then when we get to the point where, as a matter of fact, I can tell you this from now, just in case we don't get to the end of the video, I'm going to get to show you again. I'm going to preheat my oven to about, say, 250 degrees, and then after that I'll put my fishes in. I'll also put a piece of file paper in the bottom of my oven, so that whatever drip from the fish, the file paper will catch it and I don't have a big mess inside. So essentially, when you wrap your fish, like I said before, you're trying to keep all those juices and everything in. So this is what it must look like. And of course, when I was back home and I was doing this, like outdoors on my stainless steel grill, I would always use like some water, because whenever you put this on the grill and it starts cooking, then the file paper starts swell up. So, and you don't want to burn the fish. So what I would usually do is get some water and just, punch a hole in a bottle, get some water in it and just spray it, and that keep the file paper down so that your fish will cook. You don't have the outside of the fish cook and the vegetable inside raw. Alright? So basically this is how it looks. Gonna be very delicious. Alright? Alright, so like I said before, I'm gonna stop the video and I have 7 more to go, so I'm gonna wrap those out and then I'll get back to you and show you the result after. Alright? Cool. Alright, so just in case though, you're wondering what's in my vegetable, the one that I'm using to stuff this. Like I said before, back home I'd use callaloo. For those of you who are from the Caribbean or from Jamaica, you know me I talk already, callaloo. Right? Being that I can't get that here, I'm using spinach here in Canada, spinach. Right? The ingredients that I use into this as well is the same Maggi fish seasoning that you see here. I also use onions, spring onion as well, thyme, and okra. Make sure you get fresh okra, right? And you can add whatever pepper you want, or as these people would call it, jalapeno or whatever, but hot pepper. I normally put that in the thing. So I add that in it as well. After you do all of that, then you proceed to you cut them up in a bowl, preparing it in a bowl or a dish or whatever. Then you put on a gloves because of course you have pepper in that. And of course you add salt. Salt must be in there, right? And then you'd usually just use your hand and squish it. So that's why it's looking like this. I'll show you what it looks like. Aside from the whiteness, which is of course a little bit of like I said, it was frozen, so it's frozen, so that's a little bit of ice, but that's no issue, that's no problem, that's gonna cook, right? And that will produce more juice in the fish as well. So yeah, and you add salt and you also add butter into that, and then you squish it, squish it with your hands until it becomes like this. And if you're using callaloo, try your best not to use the stalks, because the stalks are hard. Sometimes the callaloo stalk hard and it not really cook. The fish will cook, or the rest of the callaloo will cook, or the vegetable, so to speak, and the stalk them have a hard. So normally I cut off the stalk and just use just the leaves of the callaloo. Alright? And that's how we do it. So like I said, if you're watching the process right now, how I do it, because I'm trying to seal all this juice, because when it comes to fish, whether you're steaming fish or you're doing brown stew or whatever, for those of us from the Caribbean, we know that the juice very important. You can't lose that, because of that the stamina there. You see me I said? Yeah man, straight up, and that the stamina there. So the juice, you want to save the juice for this, because it's very important, and that you get the stamina out of. So we go ahead and we wrap. And at all times, try your best to see if you can wrap without tearing the foil paper, because this is gonna produce a lot of juice once it starts cooking, once the heat gets to it. So you try your best to preserve the foil paper. So if you notice what I do at the end here, this is what I do at the end. Fold them in, and of course you leave room. It not to be all that too tight. So you try to leave room, because it's gonna swell as soon as the heat takes it. Also, very important, try to use a spoon. If you don't have a plastic spoon like the rice spoon, the one that comes with the rice cooker like this one, try to use like a regular spoon, but use the back of the spoon to spread your butter onto your foil paper. You don't wanna put holes in it or break it. Defeat the whole purpose. Alright? And of course, like you'll see here, I made sure I sliced the fish on both sides. And then that same Maggi fish seasoning. And of course you add a little bit of salt to the Maggi fish seasoning, because if the thing fresh, it not gonna taste good. So you want a little bit of salt in it. Not a lot, just a little bit, to give it a little bit of taste. After you do that, like I said before, you just sprinkle a little bit onto the butter that's on your foil paper. Then you go ahead, add your stuffing. Depending on how much your fish can hold. And I try to use sizable fish, not too big. You can use big fish if you know what you're doing, you know how to cook it or whatever. The size of the fish not really matter, but the smaller it is, the more tasty and more time. So like when I do these fish, what I usually do, like I prepare like adequate amount for the week, because once you do these, you can freeze them. And once you freeze it, you come home in the evening from work. If you know, even if you didn't have lunch or whatever, you come home from work in the evening. You just pop out one of them or whatever. Take it out of the foil paper, put it in a dish, and throw it in your microwave and reheat it. And trust me, they're nice. Especially when you do them fish here, it's like it tastes much better like even the day after. Like the seasoning really starts soaking out them time there. So that's when you really enjoy it. Like a day or two after you do it. So what I usually do, like I said, because I used to be a so-called Rasta man, if you want to put it that way there, or whatever. So yeah, I used to be vegetarian and then I switched to eating chicken and fish, which is the only thing that I eat right now. Chicken, fish and vegetable. So that me live after. Chicken, fish and vegetable. Alright, so yeah, like I said before, very tasty. And you keep this in your refrigerator. You don't have to waste no whole heap of time when you come in from work. You know, another day I'm gonna show you how I do fish with crackers. Every Jamaican know that. I wanna with staple. See? So as you can see, this is how the foil paper looks with the butter. And add a splash of the seasoning on that. See how it look here. Then you get your fish. Make sure your fish wash, and the drier it is the better. Make sure so the inside well clean. You see that? Well clean. As me said to, add a little bit of seasoning in there, so. Once you do that, add your stuffing, open her out, you put in your stuffing and I eat that. You see what I say? Fish are maga still, so anyways, we have put as much as we know so we want. Because trust me, you see the stuffing, very important. That delicious, man. Yeah, man. Once you do that, even up your foil paper, set in the way here, even it up. And if you are like ganja man, them, I don't have to tell you now how to roll this. You see what I say? Roll that and seal it proper. And then for the end of it, there's no special way to do it. There's no special way to do it. You only want to know, so you wrap it and it's sealed. It don't have to be perfect, it don't have to look like my one. Wrap him out. Wish my mother did there, I know to get some of this. But yeah, so the thing set. See how me look here. As me say, it don't have to be no special way. You don't want to know say it's sealed. To save space inside the oven, because 8 of them I do today. As me said, that have a 2 day. Bless up, I saw the thing set. See? So yeah man, I have my oven a preheat right here now. Maybe too hot, I have it at 300. So I go ahead and put my fish them in. If you notice, see where I put the foil paper. So where I put the foil paper. And of course, try not to get burned. Don't get burned already. Yes. Anyways, as me said before, I 8 of them I do, so me try to position them where them are alright. I have 2 more left for wrap out, but just for the sake of the video, put in them 1 year so far, make them go on. And that's how we're looking. Alright. So I have 2 more for wrap out, and I know exactly where I go put those. So then I go reduce. I go reduce the heat to set 200 degrees, just to make sure so it cooks slowly, so that the stuffing inside will get cooked. You don't want the outside of the fish to cook and the stuffing raw. Alright? So you have to know how to gauge it. Okay then folks, so like I said, I adjusted my oven to the correct temperature that I need. This is not a fast cooking thing. You have to make sure say, you know, you take your time and do it thing or whatever. Like me say, if I did outside, I do it outdoors like on a grill. Then of course I would have my bottle of water, spray it down to make sure say it cook properly and all of that. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe to my channel, and I'll show you a lot more. I'll show you in another video the finished product when it comes out, what it looks like. But tasty, very delicious. Can't wait for it for them. Over and out. See you on another one.